Hey everyone, gosh, it's been forever. Cause it's summer. Maybe we say more. No. Anyways, so this topic that we're going to talk about today has been a hot topic lately.
Yeah.
And nobody knows what our topic is but us.
Dun, dun, dun.
So today, surprise topic is going to be CBD oil. I've actually been asked to do this topic a couple times. So when you asked to do the topic, I was like, yeah, let's do that topic.
Perfect.
Because I've been asked this topic. So anyways, in case you don't know who we are, I am Dr. Smith, and I am from Accomplished Health and Wellness here in Lawrence, Kansas. And this is Heather Fiore from Free State Nutrition. And since it's been so long, you guys can recognize that Heather got her haircut. It's so nice.
Thank you.
I did not, but she did, and it looks so nice.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so we're going to talk about CBD oil.
Yep.
I got a lot of my information actually from like a few different government websites.
Okay.
Also, I got it from Harvard Medical School. And then I also went digging into Medscape and looking at some articles.
Nice.
Yeah. So I kind of actually got sidetracked on it, and then I didn't know, and I lost track of time, and then I needed some CBD oil because I had a bunch of other things I was supposed to accomplish, and I just lost it. You know how that goes.
But there's a lot of information. I don't know if there's a lot of solid evidence about it, but there's a lot to
There's a lot
to find out about it for sure.
When I went into Medscape, there were 8 pages of articles that were I think there were 10 to 20 on a page, and there was 8 pages. It was
right?
Ridiculous. A lot of them were the same thing over and over, but
really.
Similar topics.
Yeah.
So. Anyways, you spoke with somebody or
yes. So I know a fellow registered dietitian from New York who is also recently became a certified holistic cannabis practitioner.
That's a pretty strong name.
Yeah. Which I had not known was a thing.
Either. There must be because there's so many dispensaries.
Yeah. So she's pretty knowledgeable. She's got a blog. I'm gonna share her website. Her name is Emily Kyle. So it's Emily Kyle Nutrition, but she's got blog posts and lots of information on there about CBD oil, and then also how you can incorporate it into recipes if you want, and also how to make these gummies, which sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
But first,
what is CBD?
Yeah.
Okay. So CBD stands for cannabidiol. And cannabidiol is actually the second most prevalent of all the active ingredients of cannabis. And cannabis being marijuana. Okay. And there's a lot of them, of other ingredients, but it's the second most common. So cannabis is actually a genus of flowering plants in the Cannabinaceae family, and there's 3 species. Right? And I'm not going to say them. The only one I really like is, they're kind of all the cool names. Cannabis sativa. I don't know, kind of reminds me of saliva, but it's sativa.
Okay.
Cannabis indica, which indicates that it's cannabis. And Cannabis ruderalis, which is one you have to root around for. I don't know if you really know about.
Hardy.
That's all I could come up with. So here was my here was something that I wanted to kind of explain to people, because we throw around hemp and marijuana kind of interchangeably, but they really aren't.
Right.
And so understanding what that even means is important, because they're different and they're the same. See how confusing it is? And so I actually went to kind of try and find really what is the difference. Okay, so that all of you could be informed.
Okay.
So what is the difference? All right. So hemp is a variety of cannabis that actually contains less, or it contains 0.03% or less of THC.
Right.
Really, that's the important part you need to know. THC and 0.03%. So if it is if it is 0.03% or less of THC content, and this is by dry weight, it is considered hemp. If it is greater, it is considered marijuana.
Right. And THC
being
the psychoactive.
Yes. That's the other part of marijuana. So it contains more than that, and it can induce psychotropic or euphoric effects on the user. So that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Hemp and marijuana. Because that is important when you're looking at CBD. Actually, CBD really does not have any THC in it. It is free of THC. So when you're getting CBD, you do not need to worry about that. However, there are some illegal forms of CBD. Did you know that? Yes. The government is kind of funny on this, and that's because of, it really depends on what plants is coming from. So if your CBD oil is originating from hemp plants, then that is a legal form of CBD.
Okay.
If your CBD oil is originating from marijuana plants, it's actually not legal. Even though neither of them have THC in it. It's that's just silly.
Yeah.
But that's the reality.
Right.
So in the states that marijuana is illegal, and Kansas is one of them, any CBD oil that comes from a marijuana plant is considered illegal. Any CBD oil that comes from a hemp plant is not.
Yeah.
And that's across the board.
And there was recently in December, a new bill was passed about the legality of CBD oil. Well, and hemp.
Hemp. That is the big thing. It has to originate from hemp. How do you know? You got to do your research.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
I don't know. If you ask the guy at the store, does the guy know?
He doesn't. He didn't get it. He just got it from wherever he got it.
I mean, if he owns the store, maybe he'll know.
Well, any owner of the store should know where they're getting their CBD oil.
We hope so.
The worker probably doesn't, unless they're really into CBD and they want to know. And
maybe they're well trained, because maybe it's a common question. I don't. But you should, if you're going into the store, you should ask.
You should ask.
And then they'll find out, and then they'll know, and then they can tell everybody else.
Yeah, and then maybe you will keep illegal things from happening because they didn't even know that existed. I don't know. Who knows? So,
all right. So that's
so now we have kind of hammered what it is.
Yeah.
And we're all in the know. Good. So really, the next question is, what can we really use it for? Okay.
Right.
So
what is it good for?
Yeah. So out there is, apparently CBD oil is the cure-all for everything.
Yes. The guy at the store knows. He will probably give you a litany of things.
And is that true? Okay. Number one, nothing is a cure-all for anything. Sorry.
It sounds too good to be true. It probably is.
It's not.
Yeah. Okay.
What is it that we have scientific evidence, good research behind, that we know that it's good for? There's one question. Okay. Number two question, and Erica, if you don't know, we're talking about CBD oil, so thanks for joining us. And number two question is, what are the other things that maybe it helps with? Right. So CBD oil is actually really, as far as like the market goes, CBD oil is too new to really know all the things. It's going to take us another 10 years of research of all of us taking CBD oil and using CBD oil for us to really know what it really works for and what it doesn't work for.
Okay.
There's enough people out there that have been taking it lately. that they know the side effects. So that's good. But the things that it really definitely 100% works for, seizures.
Okay.
Seizure disorder. And that's actually where most of the scientific evidence is actually the effectiveness in seizure disorder.
So those
And
8 pages on Medscape is all about seizures?
There are a lot. There are.
Okay.
But it's actually effective in treating the worst childhood epilepsy, which is called Dravet syndrome, and another one called Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, right? And so these ones are usually resistant to anti-epileptic drugs, but they are not resistant to CBD oil. And there's a number of studies that show that CBD oil will decrease the number of seizures, and in some cases stop it altogether in these 2 seizure disorders.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Does it work for other seizure disorders? Maybe. But in these 2 particularly,
wow,
it does.
Are these the ones that people use the keto diet for?
Probably. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's seizures in kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Seizures in kids, and they don't respond to meds, and they do the keto diet. And it works, but obviously keto diet is problematic.
Yes.
And there's CBD oils.
Yes. So the CBD oil does work for that.
Wow.
And there is definite, good, solid scientific evidence for that.
Cool.
Okay.
What else? Is that it? No.
Okay, but it is commonly used to address anxiety and depression.
Right.
And there are a lot of studies that suggest that it can help with these.
Okay.
Okay. So that that's still coming, but I think in the future, because there is some scientific evidence that shows that it can help with these, that will come.
Right. Don't quit your meds.
Yeah. Don't. But maybe if you are taking meds and it's they're not working as well, and you've been trying a lot of different ones, maybe that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
It also, this is a great one, actually, this one makes sense. It also suggests it may work in insomnia to help with both falling asleep and staying asleep. So there you go. That makes sense to me, because it doesn't matter what you're doing, hemp or marijuana wise, you're going to sleep or you're, relaxing.
Right.
So that actually does make sense.
Okay.
And so it could carry over that it might help with anxiety, because a lot of times people that have insomnia, their the trouble falling asleep is actually because their brain just won't shut off.
Right.
They're worried about stuff and worried about stuff and worried about stuff. And so, that might actually help.
Yeah, they're kind of related, those things.
Yeah. So
Very
that
cool.
might help with that. And so there is some data coming out about that.
Very cool.
Yes. There is also a study in the European Journal of Pain that showed in animal models that CBD applied to the skin can help lower pain and inflammation due to arthritis.
Wow. So
it's arthritically driven pain. It's actually inflammatory pain. But there's some other studies that are also showing the mechanism in which it inhibits inflammation and neuropathic pain. So this is actually a big thing with like fibromyalgia and arthritis, and even maybe some diabetes, because they get some polyneuropathy and things like that. So that this might actually help, and they use it topically. So really, it's pain, arthritis, seizures, sleep, maybe some anxiety and depression. Those are the things that right now we know that they can help. There was also a very interesting study that I was reading that was actually looking at endometrial pain, so pain from endometriosis.
Wow.
And what they found, they did a whole big questionnaire looking at like all kinds of things: pain meds, marijuana, CBD oil, meditation, yoga, diet changes,
oh my gosh,
deep breathing, all these things.
Okay.
And then they ranked them according to how well it helped on the pain scale. And so what they found was that marijuana and CBD oil both did very well for these. And they asked a question of why were they starting it? And they were actually starting it more for menstrual cramps versus in like PMS symptoms versus doing it for endometriosis pain.
Okay.
But they also noted that the endometriosis pain was improved with taking it. However, the difference between marijuana and CBD oil really wasn't all that great. Like marijuana was 7 and CBD, like on the when you're looking at 1 to 10 and 10 being the most effective and 1 being the least effective, marijuana was 7 and CBD oil was 6. So it really wasn't too big of a difference. So really was the added effect of the marijuana, the THC, and you just didn't care more.
Right.
And really the effect came from the CBD oil. So that's another thought as to something that it can help. So those are the things that we know that good studies are out there on. As far as other things like curing cancer and all these other stuff, the data is just not there yet. It might come, but it's not there yet.
Yeah. I mean, people are always looking for alternatives for cancer treatment, obviously. It's understandable, but, you know.
There's actually some good evidence. I did read this one thing about this lady who had this really rare form of ovarian cancer that was, I don't know how far staged it was, I can't remember, but she took, I think it was CBD oil mixed with another compound, and it actually did reduce the size of the tumor. So but what was it really that did it? Was the other thing, or was it the combo of the two, or who knows? And that's not to say that every it helps with every cancer. There what is the I'm blanking. At Christmas time when you stand better and you kiss somebody? Mistletoe. Okay, there's a lot of research going on right now. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's with mistletoe and cancer.
Wow.
I think it's mistletoe.
That's cool.
Yeah, because every time I think about it, I think about kissing somebody under it.
Yeah.
But neat. I don't have any like it. Anyways, okay, so is it safe?
Right.
That's another big question.
So let me just say that Emily does talk about some other potential benefits, which, again, the research has not borne it out, but it's not to say that, that it will or won't help. We just don't know yet. We don't have the solid research. It just hasn't been done yet. But, she's saying that possibly like irritable bowel syndrome and inflammatory bowel could be.
So inflammatory bowel makes sense. It's inflammation.
Right. That's what I was thinking with the arthritis.
Irritable bowel. What is that usually related to? Depression and anxiety. So that makes sense. That you could extrapolate it.
Like stress or anxiety can be
most people actually with irritable bowel have a history of trauma. So whether it's physical, verbal, whatever.
Yeah.
Mental.
Yes. Yeah. And then she says multiple sclerosis.
Maybe with neuropathic.
Yes. Oh, maybe I have seen that actually. And then like opioid withdrawal. No idea about that one.
I saw some dabblings on that. I don't know either.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe.
Yes. But I think the pain part is kind of exciting because we might find that there are other, pain types that are treated.
Always looking for other natural remedies for pain. So this might be a good natural remedy.
For sure. That would be, certainly better than opioids.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, is it safe?
Is it safe? Really, here's the gist of the safety issue. Okay. So when you're getting it, because it's classified as a supplement, supplements are not governed by the FDA. So there are not any guidelines as to what they have to follow.
They're not regulated.
So you really need to research how do they get their CBD oil, what is in it, and that sort of thing. And that's very important. And so you had, or your friend had some ideas as to what kind of questions you could ask when you're looking at CBD oil. What questions one would be, here's the big one. Is it hemp or marijuana or origination?
Mhm.
You know?
Right. Do you know the source of it? For sure.
So what's the source?
Yes. And, you know, I don't know. Is it organic? I think that could be important depending on who you are. You may or may not care about that. But the extraction process is important too. So, you know, what's the solvent? Or is it CO2 extracted? And I think that it's called supercritical CO2 extraction.
Yeah.
That's the gold
That's
standard.
gold standard.
So that's what you want, but they might be extracting with some solvent or something.
And you know, the problem with that is that then sometimes the solvent gets in there, and and then it creates an impurity.
Exactly.
So you don't want impure CBD oil.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And that's the other thing that kind of leads to the next one about like
what are
other
they
ingredients? Is there anything else in there? It should just be CBD extract and some kind of carrier oil. It's usually,
what's the most common carrier oil? Do you know?
I think it's
like coconut oil.
Yeah, but they can also be hemp seed oil.
It could, or how do you pronounce it? Jojoba oil. That one's I think jojoba oil might be less comedogenic, so that might actually be a good one. Hemp seed, you know, that would make sense.
Kind of makes sense.
Carry it in its own oil.
Right, but it shouldn't have other like dyes and sweeteners and stuff.
Oh yeah, do they put that? Well, I guess maybe to make it
right if you're going to be putting it under your tongue, which is kind of so the fourth thing here would be third-party verification. So ideally, there's like third-party like lab or somewhere that's verifying
what it is.
Saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
How it's prepared and all that stuff. Yeah, but then there's also the question of like how you take it, right? Like how you use it.
Yes, and there's different ways. You can do lozenges. You can do topical. And then you can do it orally.
Right, and you put it under your tongue, and it like sits there for like as long as you can tolerate it, I guess.
Yeah.
To absorb it properly.
Yeah.
Because if you just take it in, you might digest it and not absorb it.
That would make sense.
That's what they're saying. But what else? There's also vaping. I don't know. Vaping probably has its own problems, but people can vape it.
I think you can vape almost anything. I don't know that it's a good idea to put stuff into your lungs.
That's a general rule to follow, I think.
Yeah. So anyway,
don't put stuff in your lungs. Yeah, I like it.
That is not already there or supposed to go there. You know, like oxygen.
Like oxygen. Well, air is good.
Yeah.
And
because you know, my concern always with vaping is that you're putting this vapor into your lungs that has some kind of liquid component to it, right?
Yes.
And how many people are going to have some crazy lung diseases in 10 years because of the vaping process?
Yeah.
Because they're introducing this other component that might have other bacteria in it.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah,
sure it does.
So the other part of safety is what's the most effective therapeutic dose? We have no idea. Okay, so it is all a crapshoot. I mean, when somebody is saying do this 3 times a day or 5 times a day or once a day or whatever, they don't know. There is nothing out there that says we should do it this many times a day. You can make it up.
True.
You can do it as much as little as you can, as you want, because we don't know. And then if you're doing it like 5 times a day and you start having all these reactions, let us know. So then we'll know not to do it that many times. Like, that's all I gotta say.
Right.
Because we don't know. There's nothing out there that says that.
Right.
This is the number.
I will say, I mean, I think part of the certification for these holistic cannabis practitioners,
but they don't know.
They don't know, but I think what they're probably trained to do is help people be on the lowest dose to get their benefit.
I think for the most part, people do 1 to 3,
right, but there's different concentrations apparently.
There is, and it also depends on the bioavailability. So some will be better bioavailable than others, and that is important. So all of these things are important. But the truth of the matter is, sorry, I wish we did, because I would tell you, I would. The other thing is side effects. So the most common side effects are going to be nausea, which, you know what, let's just face it. Pretty much everything that has a side effect, the most common side effect is nausea.
Yes.
Also fatigue, and then irritability. That's the other thing.
Oh.
Yep. It also, if you're a Coumadin user, and you start to add in CBD oil and you didn't talk to your provider, then you need to talk to your provider and let them know so that you can get your INRs checked a little bit more frequently, because it will increase the levels of CBD, of Coumadin in your blood. So that will, increase your INR and you'll be easier for you to bleed. There's other medication, it increases other medication levels as well, and it's by the same mechanism as it would grapefruit juice does.
Okay.
So if grapefruit juice, if you've been told, watch this because it interacts with grapefruit juice, guess what? Your CBD oil is going to do the same thing. Okay. So now you know. And so really, when it comes down to it, CBD oil there's a lot of good to it, especially with pain. All kinds of different pains, aches and pains.
Yep.
And we all have them.
Yep.
And so, that's probably good. We just don't know how much we should be using. So, start low and go slow. That's like a great philosophy to always follow. Yep. Start low, go slow. Make sure you know where it's coming from. Make sure you know how pure it is. And there's all kinds of different places to get it. Ask the questions. You're putting this in your body. And so ask the questions. I do dispense for Young Living. Young Living did recently pick up CBD oil. I don't know if you know that. It's just within the last month, Young Living picked up CBD oil. And they have just a few different kinds. They even have like this cool salve that you can put on, whatever. Yeah. And I like Young Living because they do have that third-party verification. They also are very, very strict about how their farms work with all of their oils. Okay. So CBD isn't going to be any different. Yeah. They check all of their batches for impurities, and if it's not pure, even one bottle, they actually pull the entire batch and go out to the farm and check on what's going on there. And so, if you are a CBD, if you're a Young Living lover, there you go. You already have your CBD oil dispenser. If you're not sure, there's, you can try Young Living.
And then Emily Kyle has a brand that she recommends as well. So
do you know what it's called?
I can't tell you offhand, but I find it. But so EmilyKyleNutrition.com is her website. Like I said, she's got lots of blogs. She's got some recipes, like how to make these gummies, if you want to take that. And then what is the brand? I don't know. Something with a V. Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of companies out there right now that are dispensing CBD oil. I like Young Living because it has it's a big company. It has a ton of research behind what they do, and they are very transparent about what they do. So if you like it, I can put a link if you're wanting to buy any or try it or whatever, or read about it. They have information. Yeah. We'll also put Emily's link in as well. So if you want to read, she has like an entire thing about CBD oil. Yep. So you can read about it further.
And if you happen to live in Rochester, New York, she does workshops.
Oh, there you go. And some people that I know do. So there you go. If you are having any questions that we didn't answer today, please ask them. And if we can't give you the answer right away, we'll look for it and get back to you. And summer is almost over. We have 2 weeks left to survive, and then school starts again. So we aren't sure at this point when we'll be back to talk with you guys about something else. probably after school starts. Just like, let's be honest.
Yep.
And then we'll go from there. And we'll have another surprise topic. Unless you guys give us topics, then we'll choose one of yours. Anything else you want to say?
That is all.
All right, you guys, have a great rest of your day, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.